On today's show, we explore a simple but powerful cinematic exercise that helps you choose between two paths and decide the direction of your next chapter like the main character of your life. So grab your popcorn, get comfy, and step into the scene where everything could change, because it's time to movify your life by choosing your next plotline. Welcome to the Movify Your Life show, the plot twist you've been waiting for. I'm your host, Jessica Grace Coleman, and through the Movify Your Life method, I'll show you how to step into the starring role of your story and create a life worth watching. Every Movify Monday, you'll learn how to turn everyday moments into unforgettable memories, activate your main character energy, and use cinematic tools to boldly chase your biggest dreams, like the movie star you truly are. Because when the credits roll, I want you to look back at your life like it's the greatest film ever made, full of meaning, magic, and most importantly, zero regrets. And because I truly believe everyone deserves to live an epic life fit for the big screen. So grab your popcorn, cue the music, and together, let's movify your life. Hello. Welcome to the Movify Your Life show. I'm your host, Jessica Grace Coleman. I'm also founder of Movify Your Life, chief movifier, director. I always try and give myself movified terms for everything. So I am the director of Movify Your Life. And welcome to the show. Today is all about choosing your plot line. And this is a cinematic exercise to decide your next move in life, your next scene, your next plot twist. And I don't want to take full credit for it because I got this idea from a local women's retreat, day retreat I went to, coaching retreat I went to recently. I've talked about the last retreat I went to on this podcast on a few episodes, I believe. And this was the second one I went to that she's doing it quarterly. It's local to me. She's on Instagram at the coaching retreat. She has this amazing studio and I just love going to them. It's just such a relaxing space. It's like a safe space. You can talk about whatever you want. And we do self-development exercises, mindset stuff. It's kind of like goal setting, but not really. It's hard to describe. It's just a mix of all good self-development, personal growth stuff in a lovely setting. And there was lots of ripple effects I talked about going to the first one. And the second one, I met a whole host of different ladies. A lot of us from the first retreat rebooked onto the second one, but there were different days. So my group of people were all new, apart from the host, lovely Kate. And one of those ladies has been doing amazing things. She took redundancy from her job and then took some time and started doing all this stuff for charity, like litter picking in epic outfits, like banana costumes and things like that. She's got loads of like media coverage. She's been helping out with loads of charities. It's really, really cool. And a couple of us from the retreat have said we'd like to go and join her. And that would never have crossed my mind to go and do some kind of charity litter picking thing if I hadn't gone to this retreat and met her. So that's like a ripple effect. And just meeting people doing all these cool things and stepping into the person they need to become to achieve the things I want to do is just really, really cool. So it was a really great day. But this one exercise we did really stuck with me. And I think she called it the two paths exercise. Basically in the studio, she put like a tape down the middle, created two halves. And we stood at the back of the left-hand side, which was path A, closed our eyes, and she did a sort of guided meditation. And it was basically what would happen if the whole day basically was about the decisions, the hard decisions we need to make about what we want to do in life. And path A was if we made that hard decision and headed in that direction for the next, say, 6 months, what would our life be like? And we had to sort of visualize it, take a step forward every time she mentioned something in the meditation. And then we were at the end of the room and then we opened our eyes again and we said what we felt. And then we went to the back again, but on the other side, path B, and that was if we carried on going down the path we're on now, didn't make the changes, didn't make that big decision, and we did the same thing. And we obviously all had different things in mind while we were doing this meditation. Mine was more around my business goals, my 2 businesses I'm trying to juggle and things like that. I won't go into the details because it won't really apply to you. But I'm sure you know, if you have a big decision in life you need to make, you could imagine going down the path of making the decision, going all in, just going for it, versus doing what you're still doing in another 6 months. And I've always thought like, oh, if I don't make any changes in another 6 months, I'll be exactly where I am, burnt out, not enough time for everything, wanting to do more of what I actually want to do, but not having the time to do it, all that stuff. But as I sort of went through the guided meditation, I was like, actually, no, I will not be the same place in 6 months. If I don't make this big decision in my business, I will be worse off because I'll be more burnt out. I will have spent 6 months doing exactly the same thing. And as you know, doing exactly the same thing, expecting different results is madness, the definition of madness or insanity or whatever the quote is. So I won't be in the same place in 6 months. I will be far worse off and I'll be annoyed with myself for not really going for it. It's basically going for it with Movify Your Life when I have a sort of stable, air quotes, day job. I am self-employed, so it's not that stable, but it's what I'm familiar with. And I was listening to a podcast episode this morning, actually, the James Wedmore's podcast, the Mind Your Business podcast, and he had Kate Northrup on. And she said a quote that is quite well known, I think, but I hadn't heard it for a while. And it was like, our nervous system will always choose the familiar hell over the unfamiliar heaven. So even if you don't like your job or maybe you hate it, but maybe it's sort of okay, but tolerable, you will always choose what you don't like, but what's familiar over what is unfamiliar, because that could be worse. But it could also be great. It could be the best thing you ever do, but because it's unfamiliar, your nervous system's like, no, let's not do that. So that really struck a chord with me. But anyway, I'm rambling. Most of us in the activity chose path A. We were ready to go for it. There was only one woman who chose path B, and that's because she wasn't quite ready yet. She was in the middle of like a thesis. She had to get her ducks in the row before she could make the decision. So she would eventually go for path A as well. And it was just really eye-opening. As I say, I thought I knew, I wanted to do path A. I could imagine all the stuff I could achieve in 6 months if I really went for it. And I thought, if I do path B, I'm going to be exactly where I am now. But actually, no, I'm going to be worse off. I'm going to be more tired, going to be more annoyed with myself, and just going to be super burnt out. So that's not what I want. So it was a really good exercise. So thank you, Kate, for doing that exercise with us. It was really cool. And it just was really a really powerful exercise, especially as you were like standing up and closing your eyes and moving around. It wasn't just sitting there thinking about it. It was like getting your body moving, which also helps. So that was the idea for this episode, but I wanted to create a movified version of this. So it's like choosing your plot line. So similar things, but we're looking at it a movified lens. So I want you to take a moment to think about a decision you're currently facing. It could be career-wise, it could be a job, it could be you have a job and you want to start a business or a side hustle. It could be about a relationship or something in your personal life. It could be where you want to live. It could be a big trip you've been putting off. It could be a big life move you've been putting off, asking for a raise, promotion. I'm sure you know if there's one thing that's been hanging over you, because you'll be thinking about it all the time. A decision you're facing, and you're sort of hovering between two options and not moving forward on either, which is very, very common. So we want to not look at this just as a decision, because that can feel scary. It can feel like a huge thing. If we look at it in a more fun way, this is like a pivotal scene in the movie of your life. You are the main character. You get to make the decision. And either way, either path you take could lead to great things. And you might already have an inkling, or you might know outright which one you need to do. Most of us do. We just don't do it. But let's really think about this. So let's get in our minds we're the main character in the movie of our life, because we are. Imagine the camera's on you. Imagine you have a decision to make. And this is the moment which could change everything. And that can feel like a lot, I know, but it could be the best change ever. Okay, movie star, real talk. Are you tired of feeling like a background extra in your own life? Then it's time to step into the spotlight and activate your main character era. And I've got just the thing to help you do it. Grab my free Movie Star Alter Ego Starter Kit, your behind-the-scenes pass to creating the bold, brave, action-taking version of you who goes after their dreams like the star of a blockbuster. Inside, you'll discover how to design your alter ego, choose your transformational item, pick your theme song, and build the rituals and confidence cues you need to start living your life like the epic movie it was meant to be. So, if you're ready to rewrite your script, roll camera, and finally take the lead, head to movifyyourlife.com/free to download your free starter kit now. That's movifyyourlife.com/free. Your next scene starts today. And now, let's get back to the action. So let's start with path A, which is the bold choice, the one you probably are putting off making because it seems so different, also huge, a bit scary maybe, but also exciting. And I want you to imagine stepping into that version of your life and seeing it play out like a montage in a movie. So you're doing all these things after you've made this decision, and you can picture yourself as the main character, let's say 1 month from now. What is different? Then 3 months, 6 months, a year. What has shifted? Who are you becoming? Who have you become? How do you feel in your day-to-day life? Do you feel more like the main character in your life? More confident? What have you created or experienced that you haven't yet? And if we're really movifying this, we can think about the soundtrack we would play over this version of your life, over this montage, and you can imagine it as an actual scene in a movie. So really just take a while to think, if I made this choice and went down this path full force, went all in, didn't let anything stop you, you've made the decision and now you're going to do it. What would you be like in a year? What would your life be like in a year? How will your life have changed? And really just sit in that for as long as you can and imagine it playing out on the big screen. Then we're going to bring yourself back to the present, and you're going to step into path B, which is the familiar path. This is what will happen if things stay as they are, basically. So you haven't made the big, bold decision from path A. You are just trundling along the same as you always have, doing the same thing you always have. So you're probably going to get the same results, although, as I said, in my case, I could imagine it being a lot worse because I will be beating myself up the whole time that I haven't gone for the big, bold choice. So fast forward 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, and really think about what your life looks like now. Is it exactly the same or is it worse? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Do you feel satisfied or do you feel like there's more you could be achieving and you're just not doing it? What are you still putting off? What conversations are you still having with yourself? The same old conversations, same old arguments with yourself or with other people. What's the overall tone of this version of your life? Maybe it's not dramatic. Maybe it's not terrible. It's just the same. Or maybe it is, as I say, much worse because you can't believe you've let another year go by and you still haven't made that bold choice that you've been wanting to make, maybe for years, maybe for decades. Okay, so now I want you to take this one step further and step into your movie style alter ego, which I talk about a lot. And if you haven't done yours yet, you can go to movifyyourlife.com/free. The link is also in the show notes. You can get your free guide from me. It's a PDF. It takes you through, I think it's 7 steps. It's really, really fun. And at the end of it, you'll have your movie style alter ego. So that's the version of you who is more confident, more decisive, more willing to take the bold choice and back themselves. And I want you to look at both paths, path A and path B, plotline A, plotline B, through their eyes. So which one feels more aligned with who they are, with the person you want to become? What would they refuse to settle for? What would they just go after no matter what? No matter about the limiting beliefs, no matter what other people might think, no matter what might go wrong, they would just go after it. I think you already might know which one it might be. But just for a bit of fun, it can be surprisingly powerful. You have probably based your movie style alter ego on a favourite character or a few different favourite characters from fiction. So I want you to imagine your favourite character is in this exact situation. So for me, my movie style alter ego is called Veronica Gilmore, based on Lorelai Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls. So I would imagine Lorelai Gilmore in this exact situation facing these two choices. So for you, maybe it's someone from a rom-com or a film you love or a character who always seems to move their story forward, someone bold, brave, goes after what they want, independent, strong. It could be from a TV show, a film, a book, maybe. So what would they do? Would they choose the safe option or the one that actually creates momentum and a potential better life? Which path would make the better scene? Which path would make the better storyline? And I think you already know because no one wants to watch a boring TV show where nothing happens, right? They want to watch something where people are constantly evolving and trying new things and going after their dreams and achieving their dreams. They don't want to watch something where it takes a character 5 years to make a decision. So really look at it through that lens, because the great characters don't choose the option that keeps everything the same. As I say, it would be boring to watch. They choose the option that moves the story forward. So think of it from that cinematic lens. And now, if you can, I want you to make a choice. You can even physically step to one side if you want to, choosing the path to your left or your right, path A or path B. In the exercise we did at the retreat, we stood on the line in the middle of the tape and she said, choose the path. And as I say, one person stepped to the right, path B, everyone else stepped to the left. I actually jumped to the left. I was that excited. I got really excited. Rather than fearful, I felt excitement when I was going through this exercise for path for path A. I felt excited for the new exciting path. And then path B, it just felt really shit. And it was interesting actually, because we were doing the meditation, we were closing our eyes, we were moving forward. And then she told us to open our eyes and we all looked around And at the end of path A, the left one, we were all sort of standing, shoulders back, looking really happy and excited and proud because we just visualized what we were going to do. And at path B, everyone looked so miserable, or most of us, when we opened our eyes. I was actually slouched over. Like, I had not realized I was doing it, but I was standing and I was hunched over and like going inward and just felt really bad. And it's just really fascinating, isn't it? Like, our bodies tell us, even if we didn't know what we wanted to do, if our minds were still making our mind up, our body was telling us what we wanted to do. So I leapt into path A when she told us to choose one. So maybe you feel the same. You've got really excited by one of these paths and you want to leap into it. And like I say, it's okay if you choose the not bold choice. Maybe you realize that choice, that decision, once you've gone through it and sort of really visualize the future, isn't for you. Maybe you do want to change, but it's not that particular change, and that has become apparent during this exercise. Maybe, like the woman in the retreat, you do want to go down path A, but it's not the right time. Like, it's legit not the right time. You're not just kicking the can down the road. You're not putting it off. You actually have to do something first to be able to get to that point or become that person you need to be to go down that path. And that's fine too. So path A or path B is fine, just as long as you're honest with yourself. And try not to overthink it. Just notice what feels right and go with that. Like I say, even if I hadn't made the decision as we were going through it, when I opened my eyes and realized I was all hunched over and like, I just felt like, oh God, I cannot be in the same position I am in right now in 6 months or worse. I just can't, I cannot physically do it. And comparing that to how excited and like standing up straight I was on the other path, it was just a no-brainer. So once you've done this exercise, it might become apparent that way. Because what you've just done isn't just choosing between two options. You've chosen a direction. You've chosen a version of your life, a version of yourself, and a storyline you actually want to step into because it's exciting and it's epic and it feels like you're in a movie. That doesn't mean everything has to instantly change overnight, but it does mean you are no longer sitting in indecision, and that is huge. You're moving the story forward. You have made that choice. You've done the big thing. Now you just need to follow up. And I think this can be such an interesting exercise, especially if you're looking at it through your movie star alter ego lens, because that is the person you want to become, right? So what would they do? Okay, so if you take anything from this episode, I hope you take lots of things. But if you just take one thing, just think, when you're faced with a decision, don't ask yourself what feels safest or easiest. Don't think of the familiar hell. Think about the unfamiliar heaven. What could be so great? And you just need to take that one step towards it. Ask yourself, what would make the better movie? What would make the better plotline or plot twist? What would make the better series in a TV series? Season in a TV series? What would make a better character arc? What would make better viewing? Because we don't want to stay in the path that is boring and familiar all our lives. We can do it for a while, but at some point you've got to take that big leap and do something epic. So, which path are you choosing? I really hope this helps you. The exercise I did really helped me, and I hope it gets you moving in one way or another. And I'd love to hear all about it. You can DM me on Instagram at movifyyourlife. You can email me at action@movifyyourlife.com. Thank you for listening. Please share this episode if you think someone else would like this exercise. And until next Movify Monday, I will see you on the red carpet. Thank you so much for listening to the Movify Your Life show. Before you go, don't forget to sign up for the main character memo mailing list at movifyyourlife.com/list for exclusive tips, treats, and behind the scenes magic. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could please subscribe, leave a review, or share this podcast with a friend. Let's spread that Movify message far and wide, because everyone deserves to live an epic life fit for the big screen. I'll see you next week for another Movify Monday. Until then, that's a wrap.